What's up, YouTube? This is the first segment of Cooking with Chris. Today we're going to be making a homemade lasagna. Now, I'm a big fan of cheese, so we're going to use a blend of Monterey Jack and mozzarella. Okay? Also, I've mixed cottage cheese with ricotta. Okay, those are our two wets. Now, sometimes I like to add a little more cheese. I put Parmesan or something like that inside, but today I'm just going to go with a 4-cheese blend, okay? Like I said, mozzarella and Monterey Jack, and also ricotta and cottage cheese. We're going to be using a medium ground beef. I'm only going to be using 1 pound. Now, just to start things off, now I cheat, okay? You're going to see some things in here that you're going to be like, this guy's a cheater. Okay, now, homemade is homemade. This is at my home. Homemade, okay? I don't give a shit what nobody said. So we're gonna get the stove top going. I like to use avocado oil. My wife says it's healthier than olive oil. Who knows? I don't know. That's what we buy. That's what I use. I put a little shot of that in the pan. Hello, you. And then a flying dog. Okay, so we got a flying dog here too. So now we're gonna start by just opening up the package of ground beef. My hands have been previously cleaned before starting. Okay. So we're gonna take a pound of the ground beef. Let me just turn this so we get the stove top. So we're gonna get a pound of the ground beef on, and we're gonna start to brown it. And we'll start to add the appropriate spices. Okay, we're back in action. So now I got the ground beef started browning. Okay, I haven't turned it yet. Just the bottom is getting brown so far. Now I have it on medium heat. That's important. We don't want to burn it, and we don't want to cook it too quick. So off camera, I sliced up a white onion. Now I like a white onion, nice and sweet, not too spicy. You can eat it. It's not bad, okay? So, what we got is, nobody's going to like my breath later, but still. So, what we got is we're going to do, I like to use mini Bellas. They sell these at our local Foodland. Shout out to local Foodland. Not my sponsor, by the way, but, okay. So, we're going to throw some garlic in there, okay? I like garlic, my wife likes garlic. Okay, so that's always a good thing to throw in there. We got some black pepper. Now I like to be somewhat generous with the black pepper. There wasn't much left in that jar, so just toss it in. And we're going to use, now I'm a big fan of sea salt. I don't like really to use the regular iodized salt, so I like to use sea salt, right? So I'm going to take a small bit, I guess that's about a good teaspoon of sea salt, throw it in. Now, big important spice in this is oregano, right? Get your oregano in there. You know, I like to put quite a bit of oregano. It gives you that nice flavor, right? So, now that I have all the spices added in, we're just going to take a look. So now I've got the bottom browning still, right? I'm going to give it a gentle turn now in the pan, and we'll start to get it. Now you can, I wish you were here, but the smell that's coming from this is intense. So now I used 1.5 pounds of beef, just to be on the record here. Originally I said I was going to use 1 pound, but I ended up using 1.5 pounds. It just didn't look like enough, right? So again, I've got this at a medium heat, browning nicely, right? So we'll let the spices and the juices. Now I don't drain any fat out of this. Some people are going to be like, oh yeah, that's gross, but fat is flavor, okay? the juices and the oils that come from the meat is the flavor. So I mean, and I'm not going to sit there and knock anybody that wants to, you know, drain it out and you know, it's more healthy when you drain out the fat. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not on some kind of health kick, and I'm not trying to, you know, so I like to keep it in. That's a matter of personal preference. Okay, I'm going to toss a little more garlic in there. Now that I've got it mixed up, I can get a better idea as to what we got happening here. Okay, and a little more oregano. Right, and I got some more black pepper to throw in there, but I'll find it. I got some, but we're going to throw a little more black pepper in there, just because it's good stuff. So we're going to let this do its thing, let it brown a little more, and then we'll get on to making the sauce. There's a few more things we have to get into here, and that'll be our sauce base for the lasagna. Pretty simple, right? Doesn't take very long to do. Right, so far this video is about 6 minutes long, not even bad. So yeah, we're gonna see it all unfold here. I'm gonna let this do its thing. Right, so right now it's starting to look good. So we're gonna give it a few more minutes on medium to brown up a little bit better. Let the spices get involved, let the juices start flowing, and yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back now. Off camera, I did drain a little bit out. Now I know I said I wouldn't, but it was a little overwhelming. A little too greasy. Fat is flavor, but too much fat just grounds for a heart attack. What are you saying? Cutie. That's okay. We fix. So now what we're going to do to get this on the bullhead, we're going to take the white onion. Okay? And I'm going to toss it in. Now don't be afraid. I'm going to probably use about 3/4 of it. I cut up the whole thing. I'm going to use the rest for a salad. Nothing goes to waste here. So, yeah, we throw about 3/4 of the onion in there. Right? I like to cut them in a nice thick chunk. Now, just to give you an idea, like, it's pretty thick. I mean, right? But onion shrinks when you cook it, so it's going to be good. Now, we're going to take the sliced mini bellas. These have been pre-washed. Nice, nice, nice. I like to give them a little rinse just because. Right? There. So, we throw in the mushrooms. I like to use half the pack. I buy a big pack for $5.99, but I like to save them. I use them for other things. So, okay, so that's in there. Now here's where we cheat. Okay? To be honest with you, all these years I thought my mom made the best homemade lasagna, but in actuality she cheated. Don't tell her I said that. We're gonna cheat and we're gonna use Bravo pasta sauce. The flavor, I don't know, it just reminds me of my childhood. I throw the whole can in there. Okay? Like that. So now, we got our meat, our onions, and the mushrooms, and the sauce, okay? And the spice. So we're going to mix it all up, and I'm going to bring the temperature down to a 3, right? Stirring it, just get an idea of what's happening here, right? So we're going to stir it all up, and mixing it, and I'm going to put the lid on and let it simmer for a little bit, maybe about 10-15 minutes. And we're going to go outside and smoke some legal cannabis. Right. So I mix this all up nice, and I'm going to put the lid on it, and we're going to get back to you in about 10-15 minutes, and everything should be looking all nicely caramelized and blended together. And this is now going to be the sauce for our lasagna. Alright, so Right, so we'll catch up with you guys in about 10-15 minutes, and yeah, we'll keep on rocking. Okay, so we're approximately 15 minutes later, and our sauce mix is nice and soft. The onions, everything is nice, all mixed together. So we're gonna get a closer look at the sauce now. Right, so the sauce is nicely simmered together. It's a little greasy, not too greasy. It's gonna be good. Okay, so I like to cheat and I use the Ready Bake lasagna noodles. Okay, Compliments brand, pretty reliable. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a bigger mixing spoon and I'm gonna put a generous helping of the sauce in the bottom. I'm just going to coat the lasagna pan with it. It's not going to be crazy here, just like, but I want to make sure that the pan is covered, that's all. Like, just not to go all, you know. Okay, so an even coverage of the pan. Okay, now just to give a view of what's happening in there, right? Bottom of the pan covered. So now we're going to take our cheeses and start to add the cheeses. So now, like I said before, we have 4 cheeses that we're mixing together. Mozzarella and Monterey Jack as our dry. Then we have ricotta and cottage cheese as our wets. Now it's kind of a pain in the ass to spread this down, obviously, on that. So what I like to do is first I'm going to add the dry cheeses. I do everything in handfuls. So we're going to do 2 handfuls of cheese on the bottom. Like, handful, I mean like, you know, like a softball, right? So we're going to take the cheese. So we got it in there, nice, evenly spread. Okay, so now I take my oven ready lasagna noodles. Okay. I'm gonna lay them out. See, like, I don't have a pan that they actually fit in properly, so we're just gonna crack them to size. Right? Okay, so they fit in lengthways. Cut the corner off of that one. Kind of like playing Jenga here. So we're going to put the lasagna noodles in, okay? Make a layer on the bottom with the noodles. Okay, I don't like to leave any gaps of any kind. I like it to be nice and covered. Okay, and we can squeeze another one in there. We'll just overlap it, touch, just to make sure there's another one in there. Okay. Okay, so here's our layer of noodles. Now we're going to take our wet cheese. I like to put a scoop per every 2. Okay, see, so we got about 4 scoops on the layer. Okay, now spread them out. Right, so it covers the noodles nice and evenly. If you want to use a little more cheese, no big deal. Nobody's going to say nothing. Throw an extra scoop in there. Okay? I know my kids like it cheesy. So try not to disturb the noodles. And we want to make a good base here. Right? Nice and even. Okay, so there we go. So that's our base now of the ricotta and cottage cheese. So now we're going to take more sauce. Okay? And we're just going to repeat it over again. I like to go a couple good scoops. Right? Another one in there. Now, I don't want to wreck the wet cheeses. So I'm just going to take my spoon and kind of work it outwards so I can get everything covered. So if you don't have enough, take a little more. You don't have to use onions or mushrooms. Some people don't like onions or mushrooms. I like it. My family likes it. My son's not huge on the mushrooms. He can pick them out. But all the veggies that I throw in there are relatively big. So, I mean, they're easy to pick out if you don't like it. Like I said, you can add whatever you like. Some people put egg. I like the hard-boiled egg I've seen celery, I've seen this, that, whatever. Doesn't matter. That's a matter of personal preference. This is my recipe. Okay? So, there we go. We have that now. Now we're going to do the cheese again. Again, two good handfuls of cheese. Right? Now you want to, I always go crazy with the cheese and I always don't have enough for the top. You want to make sure that you have enough to go on the top, right? So there we go, nice and even. And we're going to take our lasagna noodles again, right? I should have had a bigger pan. So now this time I'm going to squish, okay? That's important. You want to make some room because now you're starting to get all kinds of good stuff in here, and you don't have much room left. Crack my corners. I try to utilize all the space that I can with the noodles, covering everything. All right, make sure everything is nice and tight. Okay. So another couple more on here. Yeah, okay, so there's that layer. So now I'm just going to give it a light press and squish everything down. Okay, so, and again, we're going to repeat the process. More sauce. Okay. Spread it around. Super simple. I mean, you could look like a champ in the kitchen. Have your mom and dad over for dinner. They're not going to believe that you cooked this yourself. Right? Pretty easy to do. And tastes awesome. So like I said, ground beef, pound and a half of ground beef. Got half a big pack of the Baby Bella sliced mushrooms, white onion, right? Oregano, salt, black pepper, some garlic powder. Very easy. Then of course I use Bravo sauce. That's a cheater method. You could use tomato sauce, you could use, you know, your homemade tomato sauce, whatever you want to do. I like the taste of the Bravo sauce, and the reason I use it, the next day, the lasagna actually thickens, right? The sauce kind of, it makes it kind of, like the viscosity changes the next couple of days, right? I mean, it gets better with age, like a fine wine, right? So, okay, so we have this covered now. Okay, now we're going to do the wet cheese again. Now here's where it gets tricky because now we're going on top of the meat. So I'm going to blob the wet cheese all over. Okay. Now this one kind of stirring it around almost. Don't want to wreck anything, so we'll put it here. A little more, touch more there, right? So just so we have the layers still. We don't want to ruin the layers, right? So you want to be gentle when you're putting the cheese on top of the sauce, right? Now, like I said, I should have used a bigger pan because it's always the way that I always make way too much ingredients and not enough pan space. I should have used one of those styrofoam throwaway deals, but I didn't, so I'm gonna have to clean the stove a little bit later probably, but we'll see. Okay, now I would like to throw another layer of the noodle. should have the rim. Yeah, we're all right. Right. The last layer of the noodle, and then I'm going to cover it with the dry cheese again. Okay. The noodle will kind of keep everything in, keep it all intact. Again, bigger pan, less noodle waste. Right, so the rest of the cheese, we're going to throw it on the top. Evenly coating everything. Right? And that's it. Homemade lasagna, and that was ready in about a half an hour. Anybody that you have over for dinner to eat this will be thoroughly impressed.